Hi guys, sorry for the massive delay. I have a new phone. I dropped mine in a lake on Saturday and I didn't think it would be different going live on this one. Turns out it is, and hence I am vertical, not horizontal, because I couldn't figure it out because it kept saying something and wouldn't let me start, so I apologize. But I am here and this is my last time at this location because I move on the weekend. Hi, Scotty. So this is my last time here. So I can't believe that it is almost November. And hope you guys are all well and looking forward to Halloween. I don't know if kids are going out. I know it's kind of like mixed opinions on it right now. Hi, Amanda. Bring them on camera. I've never seen it say that before. Scotty, it says bring you on camera. Imagine I just brought you on live. So for those of you that have never watched this before, I answer questions if you guys want to write in, or I answer questions that people have asked during the week. I also do a real estate update and do some happy news. So first we are going to start with a question. So the first question comes from Glenda in Holland Landing. And again, I don't like it this way. I like it horizontally, but I will do it this way. So Glenda from Holland Landing says, I have been renting in Holland Landing or Sharon for almost 30 years. I have recently inherited some money and want to invest in real estate. Do you think I should do so in the Newmarket and Bradford outskirts or head more to the Barrie area? Thank you, Sharon, for asking. Obviously, you get more bang for your buck up in the Barrie, Innisfil, Springwater, Essa, etc. area. What you can buy there for $800,000, what you can buy here for $800,000 are night and day. So if you don't mind a commute, if you work somewhere, then I would absolutely move up here, more bang for your buck. Keep in mind the taxes are higher in Barrie than you would be paying in, Sharon or Holland Landing. But if you go to any of the outskirts around Barrie, your taxes will be similar to there. So if you don't mind the drive, I would absolutely do that. But thank you for asking. Our average sales price here is on $300,000 to $375,000 lower than yours there. So obviously that just makes a lot of money. Or difference, I should say, when you buy, depending on what you're approved for. So that is what I would do, but thank you for asking. Hi, Melissa. I will not, Scotty, don't worry. Yeah, Melissa, I'm on my new phone, and it says, bring them on the camera, which is weird. I've never had it say that. And it also wouldn't let me do horizontally, so I'm doing it vertically my last time at Peel Street before I move. So first we are going to do, there's this 10-year-old boy, and he lives in Italy. And basically in the title of this, I wrote like, who would walk to North Bay and back 4 times for a hug? And turns out this 10-year-old boy did, minus he didn't walk from Toronto to North Bay. He walked from where he lived in Italy to the UK and England. Obviously there's a boat in between, but he walked over 1,700 miles, which is 2,700 kilometers, which is Toronto to North Bay and back 4 times. So he wanted to see his 77-year-old grandmother, and he asked his parents about 50 times before they said yes, and then eventually his dad said that he'd come along with him. They'd plan it all out. Once they got to her town, they would quarantine for 2 weeks, and then they'd go see her, so they did that. And not only did he get to see his grandma, but he raised money for basically children that were coming to Italy because his best friend was from Ghana. And he said that he had walked much farther and had no food and no water like he did. So he said it was the least he could do, for people coming from different countries. So he raised, how much money did he raise? $22,000 for refugees. So this 10-year-old. So that was super cool. So I like that. So that is why I'm sharing that. Hi, Justin. I will not bring you on, Melissa. Don't worry. It's so clear, Justin. I don't like it being vertical. I can't figure out how to do it horizontal, and hence I was late. And it was really close up. Like I literally have it like 5 feet back from me because it was like super zoomed in. So I don't know what was happening with that. So next question is from Chris in Creemore. So Chris in Creemore said, my wife and I are redoing some electrical at our home. I don't know where to start and stop though. We've changed our panel from fuses to breakers and bought some new light fixtures, but do you suggest we get all new ones? What about switches? Should we put dimmers everywhere or regular help? he said she put me in charge of this, and I want to keep happy wife, happy life, and I don't want to mess this up. Thank you for asking, Chris. Depending on how old your other lights are, like if you live in, a century home out there and you have like 1970s ones and then you're putting modern ones, obviously that's going to look funny if, they're not consistent. So I would probably do them all if they were quite outdated. I'm getting a call. Oh, never mind. It's not a call. Hi, Melissa. It's a WhatsApp. It just came across like a call. I'm getting, again, different stuff because this is a new phone, so I'm not used to everything on it. But regarding your lights, I would change them all over if it is in the budget. And as for dimmers and so forth, I would not get dimmers everywhere. It's excessive. You don't need to like dim while you do the dishes in the kitchen. I would just do the living room. So say you're going to watch a movie or something, you could dim, and the bedroom. So in case whatever romantic time you want to dim the lights. So those are the only two places I would use dimmer, and I would use the decor switches, which are the bigger ones as opposed to the little kind of toggle ones, which are more outdated. So use the bigger kind of rectangular ones instead of the little ones that look like a little finger. Okay. But thank you, Chris, for asking, and I hope that helps. Just a reminder, we have our $1,000 giveaway every single month. So in a little over a week and a half, we're going to knock on somebody's door on the first of the month. You don't have to be our client to win. Nobody has been our client who's won so far. They've all been people that are not in relation to us. They just have to live in Simcoe County. This month we have the least entries ever, so much better chance for your friend or your neighbor or your sister, or your mom, or somebody that works at your pharmacy or the baker down the street or whatever to win. So we want you to nominate people. So again, just send a video, say, I'm Grace and I want to nominate Rebecca because she's a great neighbor or whatever, and just tell us why and send it to info@crippshomes.com, and then we'll give somebody $1,000 on the 1st of November, which I think is a Sunday. Okay, so I'm sure you guys have heard like you are what you eat. So I might possibly be a Dorito or sushi, but why I'm saying that is basically this fellow in Greece, a doctor has coined not just you are what you eat, but you are what you, I want to do his exact words, but you are what you see. So he's just saying not just, what you eat, but what you see in the news, what you see on your feeds and your social media, what you watch, your TV, what you listen to, and basically what you see story-wise and image-wise, whether it's horror movies or what you're seeing. So they did this study, and basically they had people watch a 14-minute video that was sad and not good, and then those people, more than 70% of them said they had high stress, high anxiety, and they felt that even though it was only 14 minutes, it carried 2 to 3 hours into their day. And then things that might have been little, like somebody cutting them off or whatever, something happening, they reacted much more, largely, and it seemed like a bigger deal after that 14 minutes of watching that negative, little clip. And then on the opposite side, they showed people only a 4-minute clip of somebody that was homeless that then ended up not being homeless and opening a shelter. And people felt, they said they felt more gratitude and they wanted to help more and they felt more positive. So just be careful what you guys are watching, okay? Hi, Dougie. Hi, who are you saying Chris to, Justin? Hi, Dakota. Hi, Lori. And I'm just seeing who's on here. Okay, so that was that. I have to keep track of where I am. Okay, so we have a question from Katie in Oro. So Katie said, I enjoyed reading your book and wanted to ask you if you could only do 3 things every day for you personally to help you evolve and grow, what would they be? So thank you, Katie, 1, for reading my book, and 2, for asking. Probably 1, I'm probably going to say more than 3 things, but 1 I'd say is morning routine, so not looking at your cell phone. I thought for the biggest time that wasn't really a deal breaker. I'm like, yeah, whatever, I can do it. It doesn't affect me. But when I changed not looking at my cell phone first thing in the morning, it was like massive. Pretty much within a couple of weeks, I noticed a huge difference. So whether you're doing yoga in the morning or meditating in the morning or going for a walk or a run, or I journal and I do some exercises and I listen to some things on YouTube, whatever you're doing, just don't look at your cell phone right in the morning. So I would say 1 is morning routine. 2, I would say, is surrounding yourself with good people who are also doing, you know, their morning routine. They're wanting to be better versions of themselves and like, you know, help their friends and whoever be better versions of themselves as well, as opposed to saying like, you're never going to do that, or you're dreaming too big, or whatever. They're encouraging them, saying like, you're dreaming too small, like go after this and go after more. And then lastly, I'd probably say like your routines and kind of what you're, you know, kind of like I was saying before in that study, what you're bringing into your mind and even what you're even listening to. So let's just say you're going on a run and you're listening to, you know, I am affirmations. So you're saying I am capable, or I am deserving, or I'm amazing, or I'm incredible. I'd probably say those are the three things if I could only do three. But yeah, basically, you know, checking your mental strength and not holding on to your past, and just dealing in the future and not, you know, basically backpedaling all the time. But thank you for asking, Katie. Next is it's quick before our real estate, is some Nashville students. They were high school students, and basically, you know, they're thinking about graduation, and they're thinking about, I guess, prom or whatever you call it there. And they're thinking about going off to college. But then it became mandatory for people to wear masks there, and they were thinking of people that didn't have enough money as it was, let alone to buy these $6 to $10 masks for their whole family. So they decided to, through social media, to ask people for donations, and within 3 weeks they had enough to buy 10,000 masks. So just a bunch of 17 and 18-year-olds, you know, just thinking outside the box, and instead of being like, this sucks, let's go play video games, they were doing something about it. So I liked that. Hi, William. Hi, Brittany. I will see you later, Brittany. Okay, so now we are going to real estate, but I'm reminding people about the $1,000 giveaway again, just because I see people as they jump on and jump off. So every single month, on the first of the month, we give away $1,000. You just have to send a video to info@crippshomes.com. You do not have to be in relation to Cripps Homes at all. You have never done a deal with us. It doesn't matter. The person you want to nominate's never done a deal with us. Doesn't matter. Just tell us who you want to win and why. And they have to live in Simcoe County and be over the age of 18. Okay? But for real estate, basically, the drop in mortgage rates has made people what they are approved for 24% higher than a year ago. So it's obviously October. So if in October of 2019 you were approved for 500, now you're approved for 625. Okay, so that is a big thing that's fueling our market. Obviously, the low interest rates as well. And then the government announced a $1 billion plan to basically turn old hotels, not even old hotels, just hotels that are not being utilized as much, because obviously we're not getting all these people from Europe or South America or what have you coming to visit the area, whether it's Toronto or it's people going to, I don't know, dance competitions or whatever, if things have been canceled. So they're turning all these hotels into 3,000 units that'll be affordable units for people. So that is great that they announced. Also, for rents falling in Toronto and Vancouver, they are the highest minus San Francisco. So San Francisco has the highest rents that have dropped in North America, and then Toronto and Vancouver are, well, Vancouver's second, Toronto's third. So why, if you're wondering why, so basically there's way more houses that used to be on short-term rentals, so like Airbnb. So I own a house in Toronto. It used to always have people coming from, you know, they're coming from Norway, or they're coming from UK, or they're coming from Poland or whatever, and they would do like Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, and now those people aren't coming. So then people like myself are then putting it on long-term rental, so there's way more rentals to choose from. You have more people working from home, so they don't need to rent downtown. And then you have more foreign, you know, students, and they're just doing online courses. So that's why there's not as many people in Toronto, and that's why rent is going down in Toronto, okay? So Toronto's prices for rent went down 12%, Vancouver's went down 14.1%, and San Francisco's went down the most, which was 28%. On a side note, though, Vancouver did well, or not Vancouver, Halifax did well, and they went up 15.8% for their average rent. So not everybody went down, and Montreal didn't go down a lot. They went down 2.8. So just out of curiosity's sake for you guys, the average 2-bedroom place to rent in Toronto is now $2,630. And then who haven't I said hi to? I think I've said hi to people. On a side note, there's this an economist, and he basically just said that the pandemic is accelerating things. So let's just say people move to Toronto when they're in their 20s and they want to go to school and they want to party and so forth. And then normally in their 30s, they move back to the suburbs and they have a family or what have you. Basically, it's just forcing people to do that sooner and faster. And yes, Toronto is cheaper to live right now. So some people might say, well, why don't they just stay? However, if they want to buy, and again, if they were approved for 500 and now they're approved for 625, what you can buy for 625 in Toronto as opposed to up north is completely different. So that's why they're still coming out of the city, because they want to buy. Okay. What else? So recovery of basically the real estate market, as anybody knows, has watched any of my weekly videos, which by the way, I've done about 30 in this location. But again, I move on Sunday, so this is my last time. But basically, some people say it was like a V. So it was like a sharp down and then sharp up, and it wasn't really down. It was more just like a quiet for a few weeks. Other people say it was like a U with like a bit of a slow gradual, and other people say, I think it says backwards. I don't know if it's backwards, which way I do my K. But basically saying it's like a K. So some people have accelerated tons since COVID, and other people have gone down. So basically they're saying the people that have gone up are people that own real estate already. So they are going up because their houses are worth more. And then the people that are going down on the K are the people that don't own real estate because it's hard for them to compete. So even though they're approved maybe now for 625 instead of 500, I'm just going to keep using the same example. All the people that own real estate already, they're not buying, excessive things like they were before COVID. So they're investing in their house, they're buying rental properties, they're buying cottages, and because of the lack of inventory and the amount of people wanting to buy, and all the people that got out of the stock market and so forth, there's just so many people buying. So it's hard still for those first-time buyers to buy. So they're the people kind of more feeling the bottom part of the K as opposed to the upper part of the K. Okay, I'm talking a lot. I should have a drink of water. But that is that. What else was I going to say? I said that already. Dun, 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 dun. Oh yeah. So another thing that they said, they did a survey of 200,000 people in Ontario, and it said that 26% of people were within $200 of being behind on bills, and 69% of Generation Z or Z, or however you want to say it, which are people 8 to 23. So basically, let's just say they're working and they're 16 to 23. 69% of them are within $200 of not having money. They're obviously more on the lower part of the K, but again, most people 23 don't own a house, so that makes sense. And 1/3 of them already said they're behind on bills, so that's like another thing showing the K. Okay, and then just when we look at Canada as a whole. Hi, Amy. So you're not buying as much wine? Is that what you're saying? So Canada as a whole, because sometimes I do just Simcoe County, sometimes I do Toronto and so forth. So Canada as a whole, as you can guess, is up. So it is up 17.5% over September of last year. Okay, so the end of September of this year, as of the end of September of last year, Canada as a whole is up 17.5%, the average sales price. So the average sales price now in all of Canada is $604,000 and change. And then in September, the amount of homes sold, so not the average sales price, but the amount of homes sold was 45.6% more homes were sold in September, okay? And then if we look at just October, the first week of October, one thing I don't like about this phone is pop-ups are coming up so I can see stuff, and normally I only see phone calls, but I can see like Facebook Messenger and stuff. But anyway, so the first week of October in 2019, in Simcoe County, there was 190 new listings, and this year there were 323. So 190 last year, 323 this year, which is 70% more. And then some people will say, who cares? I mean, how many are actually selling? So in 2019, the first week in October, 194 homes sold, and you might say, well, only 190 listed. How can 194 sell? Because there was 190 new listings doesn't mean there wasn't older listings as well. So 194 sold in the first week of October 2019, and the first week of October 2020, 273 sold. So 194 to 273, so that is up over 40%, the amount of homes sold, okay, in Simcoe County. Again, so that's Simcoe, Barrie, Oro, Innisfil, Essa, Springwater. I don't know if I missed anywhere. I said Innisfil. Okay, and then the average sales price in 2019 and the first week of October was 520,000, and this year in the first week of October it was 636,000. So 520 to 636. Okay, so that's why again the top part of the K, the people that already own houses are making money and they're doing well. Since COVID first happened in March, or at least lockdown happened. And then the second week of October was similar. In 2019, there was 135 new listings. This year, there was 216 the same week. And last year, the same week, 145 sold. And this year, 190 sold, which is up 31%. And then last year, the average sales price was $474. And this year, the average sales price is $646. So $474, the average sales price in Simcoe County. This year, the average price $646, the exact same week, okay? Hi, Judy. I hope you're well. Hi, Norberto. Hope everybody's well. So again, 36.4% more. The average sales price in Simcoe County jumping from $474 to $646 in the same week, October versus last year, October, okay? In Barrie, in the last 7 days, there's been 14 new listings, 3 deals died, and 8 conditionally sold, 12 sold firm, and 19 people got their keys. That was condos, sorry. And in freehold, so no condo fees, there's been 52 new listings in the last week, 19 conditionally sold, 71 went firm, 66 people got their keys. And then in ESSA, 5 new listings happened in the last week, not as many. 14 conditionally sold, 7 sold firm, and 9 people got their keys. And I'm going to jump to questions because I don't like all the numbers all the time. I'll go back to numbers after. So, question from Grant and Stephanie in Barrie. So Grant and Stephanie said, we have 3 rental properties and are pretty well versed in that whole aspect, but know you have transitioned from short-term rentals, to short-term rentals. How do you suggest we gauge if it's a move we should also make or if we should stick to what we know? Thank you, Grant and Stephanie, for asking. I don't know if you mean like to transition your current houses and keep those houses, but then do short-term rental, or sell them all together and switch to something that's more suitable for short-term. So if, I'll kind of answer both. So if it's keep your current ones, I would suggest that it's one family home. So if you have a multiplex, there's a duplex or triplex or whatever, it's probably not ideal for short-term rental. If it's short-term rental, it is better if it's like riverfront, waterfront, or has a pool. It's easier to rent those. Other ones still rent, but not as easily. And then if you just want to get out of it completely, you do make more money, obviously, in short-term rental, but obviously there's more headache. You can't expect to just make 4 times the amount of money and have less headache. So that's my answer to that. If you're okay with the headache, and you're willing to put in, the dirty work or whatever you want to call it, the elbow grease, then all the power to you. Just watch your areas because, for example, Oro switched to no short-term rentals. Romero has no short-term rentals. So I don't want you to buy a house and base it off of your short-term rental numbers. And you're like, okay, we're going to make $4,000 a month. But then you don't run your, if you rented it long-term. So let's just say you buy, for example, in Springwater, and then Springwater changes that you're not allowed to have short-term rentals anymore. And now you're losing, $1,000 a month. So I want you to run both numbers just to make sure it makes sense in case you have to switch to the other, okay? So in case you have to switch from short-term to long-term. So I just run your numbers before you make that switch. And I would be used to either being on your phone a lot, or you have somebody maybe in the Philippines or in Vietnam or somewhere do everything for you to arrange, check-ins and check-outs, because otherwise it is quite time-consuming on your phone because you have to think about, you have people checking in and out every single day. So that is my answer to that. That's my break from the numbers. Back to Oro. So there were 7 new listings in the last day, or in the last week. 7 conditionally sold, 14 sold firm, and 16 people got their keys. And then in Springwater in the last week, there was 9 new listings, 2 conditionally sold, 18 people went firm, 12 people got their keys. Okay, so now we are going to a 27-year-old. And so this 27-year-old basically loved to travel, but obviously with COVID, knew that she couldn't travel. So instead of being a grumpy Gus, she was getting her master's for humanitarian assistance. So basically, she wasn't a stranger to, nonprofits or what have you. And she'd I don't know, lived in some nunnery thing in the past. But basically, so she said, okay, donate to me and I'm going to climb these 58 peaks in Colorado and around Colorado. And they range from 14,000 feet and higher. So she did that expecting to make $1,000 or $2,000. She got back after 78 days and she had raised over 85,000 US. And she gave that to a charity that was helping people that had lost money, basically businesses and so forth during COVID. So I just like people, again, that are always thinking positive instead of thinking, the world sucks and whatever, and trying to think what they can do to have a positive impact on it. So thank you. I didn't write her name down. Thank you, 27-year-old lady from Kentucky. So I'm going back to a question. So Caroline from Stainer. Hi, Samantha. How are you? Caroline from Stainer. I plan on renovating my kitchen this winter. Samantha renovated her kitchen. I plan on renovating my kitchen this winter and have a general idea of what I want and the feel. I have been looking at appliances and I'm overwhelmed with counter depth and sizes, and they vary so much in prices. I don't want to put the money in if I'm not going to get it out. Can you help me, please? Thank you, Caroline, for asking. I don't know where I got Catherine from. Thank you, Caroline, for asking. I actually had a client that just sent me today, and he said he spent $13,000 on appliances. And I'm like, what kind of appliances did you buy? But his stove was counter depth, which normally you'll see fridges that are counter depth, not stoves. And his stove was $3,900, so that was a big ticket item. It obviously is nicer to get counter depth, especially if you're doing a more expensive kitchen. If you're doing a cheaper kitchen and you're just buying, the boxes and you just see them at the front of Home Depot and you're literally just getting the $99 to $129 for these box kitchens, I would not worry about expensive appliances. I would just go on Kijiji and get miscellaneous appliances as long as they're all stainless. They don't all have to be Samsung or all have to be Frigidaire or whatever, but as long as they're all stainless and not stainless black white. But if you're doing a more expensive kitchen, I would do a counter depth fridge. And obviously if you could do a bit wider, it would be nice. I wouldn't do a counter depth stove just because that seemed expensive to me. But I've never done one, so I've never checked if maybe there's cheaper ones. And then dishwashers are pretty, standard. They're all the 30 inches, so they're pretty standard. But I would do a fridge if I were you. But again, depending on the price of the kitchen that you're doing, I wouldn't go overboard, okay? Hi, Mel. Hi, Daniel. Hope everybody's well. Mel, I will see you in a little while. And also, Britt was on here, who I said I would see in a little while, too. So I apologize if I'm late, because I don't know the time, Melanie. Okay, so next we have... What did I just do? A question. I'm doing a reminder for the $1,000 giveaway. So on the first of the month, we are going to give away $1,000, as we always do. This month, we have the least amount of entries, so therefore you have the better chance of winning / whoever you nominate. So send in whoever you want to pick. They do not have to have any relation to Cripps Realty. They just have to live in Simcoe County and be over the age of 18. So just send us a video of who you are and who you want to win and why, and then we'll knock on somebody's door with a $1,000 check on the first of the month, okay? So I hope you guys do that. There was an 8th grader in Texas, and she studied over 1 billion cells. Not 1 billion, 1 million, sorry, which is still a lot. And she found some cell that binds and inhibits a viral protein, which is basically she's trying to figure out how to find a cure for COVID, which is crazy because she's in grade 8. So she's 14. Anyways, she found one, and she won this $25,000 prize for being top young scientist or whatever. And she said it's not about the recognition or the money, but she obviously just wants to help find a cure, which is amazing. Most 13 and 14-year-olds are, I don't know what they're doing, figuring out makeup or playing online games or, I don't know, on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat or something. And this little girl's trying to cure COVID. So I thought that was really awesome. And she lives in Texas. Okay, and then, what do I have? I think I have one more. Okay, so question from Diane and Catherine from Aurora. So Diane and Catherine wrote in and said, we love seeing other powerhouse women entrepreneurs that we can look up to. So first off, thank you for being a person like that for us. But our question is, we're older than you and we're worried we've missed the boat. And what if it's too late for us? How can we fast track that process to our small business success? Thank you, Diane and Catherine, for writing in. I don't feel like you can fast track. I feel like, they say the elevator to success is sometimes broken or out of order, but the stairs are always available. So I don't feel like you can fast track it. Like people that want to have, they're like, oh, I've been doing this for 3 months and I'm barely making any money. Well, some people do stuff for 7 years and 10 years and whatever. So I don't feel like you can fast track it. I told a story once when I was speaking in England, and basically it was about a bull or whatever, and he was telling this bird to, if you ate this poop of the bull, that you get all the strength and you could fly up to the top tree, because that's what he wanted to do, the top branch, to see the beautiful horizon. And the bird did it and got to the top, and then eventually a farmer saw it and shot it out of the tree. And basically it said, bullshit can get you to the top, but it won't keep you there for long. So it's more hard work and just determination, as opposed to finding like some magic diet pill or whatever. I'm sure you have the determination and in you to do it. So I don't think there's a fast track answer, and I apologize if that's not what you want to hear. But thank you for writing in, and I wish you and your sister nothing but success. And what do I have? Oh yeah. So how do you increase your mental health and well-being? Which I know some people, like during COVID and so forth, it's hard, obviously. Some people feel like they're locked down and what have you. So they did a study through this American psychological, how can I say that? Psychological Association. And they found that acts of kindness and helping others actually was better for your mental health and well-being. And they said random acts of kindness were better. So if you always volunteer Tuesday at 2, that you don't have as good effects on your mental health and your wellness as if you actually randomly just help, a lady across the street, or somebody fell and you help them, or whatever randomness that you did. That actually benefits more. And they did a survey, or not a survey, a study in Hong Kong as well. And they found people are healthier, and they have better mental and physical health as well, for those of people that help, as opposed to people that don't help anybody. And oddly, or at least I thought it was odd, but good odd, more than a quarter of people volunteer, which is awesome. And they said the older you are, the more, if you help people, it'll help with your physical health. And the younger you are, if you help people, more help with your mental health and your psychological functioning. So anyways, help people, be kind to one another, have an amazing day, and don't forget to nominate people for the $1,000 giveaway on the 1st. And that's all. Be kind and be the best version of yourself you can be. Bye, guys.